You've heard about it. But what is NASA not telling you? And is this possibly Revelation 6 seal? Apophis is the most potentially hazardous asteroid ever discovered.
I think it
On
is
Friday,
2029.
April 13th,
That's the sixth seal.
2029, and yes, that is a Friday the 13th. It will approach our planet at a distance of what NASA says is just 19,000 miles, passing closer to the Earth than even the orbits of geostationary satellites.
That's close.
Now, scientists assume and assure us that it won't hit the Earth. But is there something they're not telling you?
Yes.
And if it does hit, it would be a civilization-ending event.
No.
And if so, then it certainly will be part of Bible prophecy, right? Something of that magnitude can't happen.
It's going to kill a lot of
not
people, but
in the Bible.
It's not going to
That's why we're discussing this
make
in
the
today's
whole
teaching.
world extinct.
Now, if scientists
It's not going to do that.
and Apophis misses the Earth, it'll be interesting because it'll be highly visible from Europe, Africa, and Western Asia, looking like a bright star, magnitude 3.1, streaking across the sky. That is the narrative that NASA's telling us. But like we said, what if they're wrong?
Or lying.
What if it hits the Earth? It would be a civilization-ending event, just like we said, causing a darkening of the sun, moon, and stars in kind of a nuclear winter. Volcanoes, tsunamis, tornado-strength winds, earthquakes.
That could be.
A rain of meteors, all exactly like what's described at Revelation 6 seal. So, if that's true, what if the governments of the Earth decide to take action and blow it up so that only fragments of it hit the Earth?
That's going to be bad.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We'll get to that, but first let's start at the beginning. Apophis resembles a peanut in shape. It was first discovered in 2004 when astronomers located it, like 80 million miles from the Earth. Initially, this rock, the size of 3 football fields, didn't seem very noteworthy, so it was just given a rather scientific name, 2004 MN4.
33 yards across.
As scientists continued to study, they realized it had only an incredible 1 in 37 chance of colliding with the Earth, killing billions and ending civilization as we know it. That caught their attention. A 1 in 37 probability was the highest ever calculated for any significant asteroid impact in recorded history. At that time, this was, about a 3% chance. That's pretty bad odds, for something that could kill billions. So this is when the asteroid was renamed Apophis, after the Egyptian god of destruction. In Egyptian mythology, Apophis, also known as Apep, is the great serpent. Sounds biblically familiar, doesn't it?
That's, yep.
The enemy of their sun god, Ra. It represented darkness, and Ra represented light. The sun was Ra's great barge in which he sailed through the sky from dawn to dusk, and then, at night, Ra would descend into the underworld. In that part of its daily journey, it sailed through the darkness. It was attacked then by Apophis, who would seek to kill Ra and prevent another sunrise. Apophis desired to have the world descend into eternal darkness. If the asteroid that we're talking about were to hit the Earth, that is exactly what would happen, at least for a significant period of years. If Apophis hits the Earth, it will cause complete, widespread destruction or vaporization up to several hundred miles from its impact site. The energy released would be equal to more than 1,000 megatons of TNT or hundreds of nuclear weapons. For instance, if Apophis were to hit downtown Baltimore, it would vaporize Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. as well.
Yeah, but not the whole world.
Vaporize them. The strike would probably be followed by the ejection of rock and dirt into the atmosphere, which would fall back to Earth as millions of red-hot meteors. The impact would also cause volcanoes, which in turn would lead to thick cloud formations and years of climate disruption, a nuclear winter.
Yeah.
The earthquakes would also lead to massive tsunamis and winds of hundreds of miles an hour.
Bye-bye San Francisco.
Millions, if not billions of humans would die. Now, the rich and famous who have built bunkers would likely be hiding in them.
Yeah.
And if you're a Christian, these events probably seem very familiar. Like maybe they're found in the book of Revelation, right? Well, they are.
Yeah.
They are the same events as the sixth seal found in Revelation 6:12 through 17.
Yep.
In fact, they seem eerily familiar and similar to an impact like this. When he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake. There's the earthquake that happens on impact.
Yep.
And the sun became as black as sackcloth. The full moon became like blood. There's the darkening due to the clouds. And the stars of the sky fell to the earth as the fig tree sheds its winter fruit when shaken by a gale.
The heavens
There's
shaking.
both the falling back to earth of the millions of meteorites
Yeah.
and the 100-mile-an-hour winds. The sky vanished like a scroll that is being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Yeah, to me, that even sounds like a potential pole shift.
Yeah.
Then
They've been
the kings
talking
of the
about
earth,
that
the
too.
great ones, and the generals, and the rich, and the powerful, and everyone, slave and free, hid in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne.
That's
and
Jesus.
from the wrath of a lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?
The saints.
Revelation 6:12 through 17. Jesus added tsunamis in Luke 21's account of the sixth seal. So in total, it's a picture-perfect match.
Yes, it is.
What would happen after a comet or asteroid strike? Be that Apophis or another similar asteroid.
NASA's
comet.
lying.
Interestingly, the events in Scripture that immediately follow the sixth seal
The elites know about it and they're in bunkers, but
also seem possibly related to an asteroid strike.
NASA's lying.
The impact of blood, fire, and ice of the first trumpet,
Yeah.
the burning of a third of the world's vegetation, a fiery rock like a mountain hitting the sea, that's part of the second trumpet, and wormwood, which is described as a falling star making a third of the fresh water bitter at the third trumpet.
Oh, the third
And the
trumpet.
darkening of the sun, moon.
That's wormwood. Okay.
Now, Dr. Tom Horn has proposed that Apophis will hit the earth and that this will be wormwood. But as you can see from these events, it
Yeah.
will be much more extensive than just the third trumpet.
Yeah,
We're
it will.
talking about a lot of events, and events that the Bible groups at the same time, as all happening at about that same time. So, as soon as scientists understood and reported the severity of such an impact, media around the world began to discuss it, and Apophis became known as the most dangerous asteroid ever discovered. In March 2021, as Apophis came somewhat near the Earth, millions of miles, but somewhat near the Earth, astronomers decided to utilize powerful radar telescope observations to get a better grip on its actual orbit around the sun, and in so doing,
Come on,
they could
Thor.
decide whether it was really going to hit the Earth or not in 2029. I mean, they needed to know.
Come on,
To the
buddy.
apparent relief of everyone in the scientific community, the updated analysis ruled out any significant Earth impacts
Thor,
for at least the next century.
your butt's in the way.
That is, if it continues on its present course. But two things can change that, and the media never talks about that. For one, there's something known as the Yarkovsky effect, which is a slow, gradual change in the asteroid's orbit. The Yarkovsky event is really interesting. It occurs from an interaction between the asteroid and the heat of the sun. When the sunlight strikes a rotating asteroid, the side facing the sun heats up. But as the asteroid continues to rotate and turn away from the sun, it cools down and releases heat. This release of heat acts like a small rocket booster, and it exerts a significant thrust on the asteroid, which can change its direction over time. That's right. The Yarkovsky effect is subtly changing the orbit of Apophis and all rotating asteroids.
Great.
NASA never, ever talks about this. Why?
Because they know it'll
they
hit.
can't really predict this effect, so they don't want you to know about it. Second, what happens if another asteroid happens to hit Apophis by accident? That's right. It would change the orbit, just like the old video game Asteroids. Do you remember that? They would bump into each other and fly all over the place.